Wrestling with a little bit of choking.
It's not weird, it's jiu-jitsu.
What are some common misconceptions about jiu-jitsu?
That you have to be in shape before you start. It will whip you into shape. Everyone has a different why for why they're coming to jiu-jitsu. Some are there for purely just wanting to do something physical or have a fun workout. Other people are there to protect their family or protect themselves.
I've always been into like punching and kicking, you know.
You had brothers.
Yeah.
You've been punching and kicking your whole life. We have kids who come in here and can barely do any kind of coordinated anything, and then within a couple of months they're doing stuff that was really hard the first day. And that is so cool to watch.
What's your martial arts pet peeve?
Probably ego, like underestimating someone else because you think you're better in some way. I just really have very little patience for ego. I think for me, jiu-jitsu, it helps me appreciate like every body type and what their capabilities are instead of like idolizing one perfect body for the sport, because there's not. It's not about looking a certain way or being exactly how you're supposed to be all the time. It's about...
Today we'll dive into a really fun conversation I had with my wife and our friend Amanda. I'm super intrigued by their world. Even if I don't train and do jiu-jitsu and martial arts and any of that stuff, I'm still super intrigued by it, and it was really fun to talk to these girls about what they do, why they do it, and the different ways that jiu-jitsu helps with mental health and all that stuff. Let's get into it. I guess I'll just start by asking, I'll ask both of you because I'm interested. I already know your story, but I'm interested in yours, Amanda.
He's not interested in mine.
How did you guys get into martial arts? What was the thing that you were like, I want to try that?
Probably because I'm just a movement junkie. Like, it's not just martial arts for me. I started with dance when I was really young, like 8th grade, and loved it. Did it through high school. Was in breakdance clubs and you name it, bringing my own cardboard everywhere we went. A little bit over the top, probably. But then I did that through college. I loved dance through college, and we studied a lot of like movement and how anatomy applies to movement in the body, and I was super interested in that. So I love studying the human body and the way that it can do so many different things through movement. After dance, like after college ended, there was a pretty big gap of having kids and all this stuff, and there was a local Taekwondo studio that came to my town. And I did some pictures for them and met them, and it seemed pretty cool, and I went. I was the only adult, which was fun. It was like me and a bunch of 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and learning how to kick and punch. So, but it was so fun, and it gave me like confidence that I didn't know that I was missing after having kids and transitioning to a new phase. And so I learned to love movement in a different way that wasn't like so art-based. I know it's martial arts, but it was more of the fighting stuff, so it was very different. So yeah, got into that, and then that gym closed, and I was devastated. It was so sad, but I did love it, and another gap, and then I found jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu is a lot like the modern dance that I majored in college. So for me, it feels very full circle coming back to why I got into movement and what I loved about the movement, because it's a lot of groundwork. It's a lot of rolling around, a lot of creative movement with another partner. It was a lot of times with another partner, even in dance. So for me, I just love movement, and this is my next exploration of movement.
That's awesome.
And I love the self-defense part of it too. That's obviously.
There's so many facets of it, and I don't even take it.
Yeah.
But what you've told me and taught me, it's kind of cool. What was your introduction to it?
I don't know, I guess I was just looking to be a part of something more, I guess. I mean, I've never really carried much confidence about myself, so it was like definitely stepping out of my comfort zone, if that makes sense, to, walk in here. So at first I was driving down the street the one day, and I saw asset jiu-jitsu and like self-defense. I'm like, that looks kind of fun, I've always been into like, punching and kicking, you know.
You had
Whatever.
brothers.
Yeah.
You've been punching and kicking your whole life.
Wrestling. Yeah. Anyways, I drove past it and I'm like, I've got to look up that place. So I found their website and I actually texted Chance and I'm like, hey, like, I'm really nervous to do this. I was what, 21 at the time? Yeah, I was 21 and I was like, I don't really know if this is a place for me. I don't know if this is something that you even have girls do, but I'm kind of open to trying it. And so he's like, yeah, we have, a ladies only class. How about you come check it out? And so I showed up and Rachel was here. And I was like, what are you doing here? She's
Such a
like,
small
well,
world.
I own this gym. She's like, well, what are you doing?
Chance is my husband, yeah.
I'm like, wow. So my first class was with Rachel and Chance.
Cool that a coworker was like connected that way. Yeah.
I love that you said you saw it on the window because that is how I found out about it too. And everyone else is like, I drive by this all the time, but I never see it. I'm like, oh, well, Kori does apparently.
Yeah, that's what drew me in.
It's cool that it teaches you so much, like, confidence. Because I remember, like, the self-defense thing, when you were telling me about jiu-jitsu, you're like, oh, I'm doing this self-defense, like, jiu-jitsu thing. And I had heard of the name jiu-jitsu, like, 4 times probably before you took this. I was like, oh, that's like some foreign martial art or whatever.
Brazilian type.
Yeah.
thing.
The very first class I came to, there was like 5 or 6 guys sitting on the mat looking at the front door. And I found out later they were watching something on TV behind me. But I opened the door to all of them staring at me. And it was only dudes. And they were big. Apparently my mind like made them 10 feet tall because I was just like, oh my gosh. So that was super intimidating. And it was like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue this if I'm the only girl here. And that was scary. But then after meeting like a couple of other girls came and I found out there was a women's only class that some of those people came. You just learned it's just good people. Like it's people that care about you more than just like, hey, I need a buddy to roll with. Like that's what hooked me. I was like, oh, it's a community. Like it feels, I know sometimes that gets cliche in jiu-jitsu. They're like, oh, it's my family. But it does feel like I have 6 more brothers right now and a new sister. And it's so fun. You just get to meet people that I wouldn't have met any other way.
Big time.
Yeah.
I think I remember walking out of here after my first class and I had come, it was like an afternoon class. It was when the ladies one was in the afternoon or something like that. And I walked out of here and I was like, holy crap, what am I getting into? And then Chance always was like, it's no pressure. If you don't want to roll with the guys, then it's not a big deal. And I'm like, I don't really care, like
Right.
guys are guys, and the next class I came to was like full of just guys. And Chance, I talked to Chance about this afterwards and he was like, I was super nervous that you wouldn't want, like this would turn you off completely. And I'm like, no, it didn't bother me.
Then you started counting how many brothers you had, and you're like, well, I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah. The guys are so open to your preferences and going your speed and teaching you rather than just smashing you in the ground that it's like an open thing.
I feel safe rolling with any of the guys we have here,
absolutely.
which I know probably not everyone can say about every training partner they have, but I've never once felt like, oh.
No, I don't think I've ever felt unsafe with any of my,
We have a really good culture here.
we really, really do.
Lucky. We're lucky.
Tell me the difference between jiu-jitsu and like other martial arts. And it can be like a super basic breakdown. Like in Muay Thai, we kick and punch. In jiu-jitsu, we roll. Like,
That's kind of how I explain it to people when they ask, because they are weird names, right? Jiu-jitsu is a weird name. Muay Thai, another weird name. And unless you're looking it up online, it's not super self-explanatory, and it's not like in the Olympics or popularized in some ways. So it's like, my grandma can't even say it. I love you, grandma, but like it's
My
a hard, it's a
father-in-law.
weird word. Like it's hard. So that is like how I would break it down to people. Like, no, it's grappling, so it's more like wrestling than it is like the other martial art forms, in that there isn't strikes. Not in this form. There is slapping jiu-jitsu.
What?
Yeah, I've never tried that. No thanks, but
I did not
yeah,
know
so
that.
no strikes. There's not like, I mean, we learn submission chains or pattern chaining, but it's not like the other art forms, in my opinion, where it's like, here's your combo for boxing and you're throwing a certain set of combos. Or I guess we kind of do that with like, that after this step comes this step comes this step. But in my experience between Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu, it was very different, very minimal sparring, very little contact in general. You learned a lot of movements away from each other, just kind of like dance routines almost. And then the sparring was very minimal, very light contact. And it was like that with weapon skills, with everything. It was by yourself. And then if you go to tournaments or spar, then maybe you have contact. But this is all contact. You can't do it without somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge difference for me.
I had my dentist lady ask me that today.
Did she?
She was like, "So is jujitsu something that you can do by yourself?" And I'm like, "No."
They
Well,
do make
I've
rolling
never
dummies.
tried.
What classes do you teach here? And what like age groups, like who is it for?
Yeah. The kids' classes are ages 6 through 18. And then there's adult classes, and I teach one of those. We've got an awesome set of teachers. So there's 4 of us that teach adult classes, and I just do one of them.
Do you recommend all kids take some form of martial art?
I would say yes. I know there's a lot of like us versus them in martial art communities, and I don't agree with that. I think any martial art is beneficial in some way. So even though they're very different and they're giving you different things, like I learned very different things in Taekwondo than I did in Jiu-Jitsu. And the movement is different and the skills are different. And I think the applicability is even different in a real world situation. But I still learned stuff, and it was still helpful in my growth as a human and as a kid, like having that kind of structure and being able to gain coordination, learn how to use your body, gain the confidence, make friends in a setting where you're all learning in an uncomfortable way is really good because you're all uncomfortable together. I think you kind of can't go wrong unless you get a bad McDojo or something. I don't know about that, but
What's the difference that you've seen in like the kids or even adults as well, people? What's the difference you've seen in their confidence or the way they present themselves from the day they walk in to like, I don't know, 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, however long? How long and what difference do you see like in that?
there's confidence in lots of different ways. So at first I would say the shyness can kind of be there where it's like, everyone's watching and I'm expected to perform this move. I'm going to do it wrong. And there is some kids that take a while to warm up emotionally or mentally, and they will just sit and watch for a couple of classes, sit on the sidelines, or they'll watch the coach the whole time to make sure that they're executing it just right and perfect. And over time, you kind of see some of that hesitation go away. Obviously, they'll come off the wall. They'll stop watching to make sure they're doing it right and just try to do it, instead of focusing so much on the feedback, they'll just do it. Or physically, you see tons of improvement. Like we have kids who come in here and can barely do any kind of coordinated anything. And then within a couple of months, they're doing stuff that was really hard the first day. And that is so cool to watch because you're like, oh, it's like setting in, it's working. Like they gain new movement patterns and coordinations that they didn't have. So it's way cool.
Is that so rewarding?
It is, especially when it's like they're really struggling with it. And if they come into a class where they're one of the only new ones for a while, and then they can feel even more alienated, and then they get it, you can see like their confidence just soaring, like, oh my gosh, I can do the same thing. Like, it's fun. It's super fun.
The difference between the teens class and the adults class, what's the atmosphere difference?
It's a little bit sillier, probably.
Is it?
I love the teens class. They're so much fun. As far as like skills, there's some movements that you're not allowed to learn until you're a certain belt level. like there's some leg entanglements and stuff that you can't teach above a certain or below a certain age, just for the safety. Like kids can't do standing front headlocks, that kind of thing. So there's some moves obviously that are going to be different between the two classes, between teen and adult, but the atmosphere is like, they're just fun. Like they're still kids. Like you look at them and some of them are almost 2 feet taller than me. Some of these kids are huge, but I mean, they still want to play games at the end of class, or they still are like there to joke with you and tease you. And they're so quick to learn though. Like their ability to just like pick stuff up and rebound and not have that hesitation of looking super dumb. I don't know. Those teens are like, it's something else. They're wild.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
teen
for sure.
classes?
It's a little bit my favorite. Did I give that vibe? It's my favorite. Yeah.
That's awesome. So how many classes do you have a week, and like how many people help you teach whichever ones?
So there's 4 adult jiu-jitsu classes, 2 gi and no gi. And then 1 adult Muay Thai class. So there's 3 other teachers that teach adults besides me, and then 1 person that teaches the Muay Thai, which is Casey. Casey's a freaking rock star. The kids classes like need several people in them to make them work. It's too hard to be everywhere at once. It's too hard to see all of the different kids in the things that they are doing at the same time. So every kids class has like 3 teachers at a time in it. So Mike Archer comes and helps, and then Casey comes and helps, and we have a couple of other parents that come and help too. And it would not work without them. Like the kids classes, they're high energy, lots of focus, but we have to have more than 1 coach there. We just can't see it all. And since safety is like such a huge issue when you're still learning things and kids can get crazy, we need the extra people. So they're amazing. They make it work.
Is gi or no gi better? Each of you can.
I used to hate gi.
Really?
I did.
Really?
I used to hate it because it just felt hot and it was in the way and I couldn't move and came untucked all the time and I have to tie a stupid belt. But now I love gi. There's way more grips and you can control your partner more. And when you're little, it's where it's at, in my opinion.
So explain what a gi to me is. Like I've never heard it before.
It's the jiu-jitsu robes that you wear to class.
Some people call it a kimono
A kimono.
or a karate suit. It looks the same. I'm sure there's
Murder
differences,
pajamas.
but murder pajamas.
Seriously.
Yes, you have a coat. It wraps. A belt goes around it, and you have pants.
See, I liked gi just because I felt like it gave me more of a real life situation. Like if somebody throwing me to the ground or grabbing onto my clothes, like I feel like it gave me a little bit more. Because when I first started jiu-jitsu, I came here for the self-defense, just to protect myself a little bit more. But yeah, so I really liked the gi. It was really hot a lot of the times, but I liked the gi.
I remember, so going back to the confidence thing, I wish as a kid and a teenager, I would have done more like school sports. I was always the kid that would rather work and make money and play basketball on the weekend instead of like go to basketball practice every single day for 2 hours after school. But I look at like back in football, basketball, track, whatever it might be, man, like I look at those kids and they just, whether they're jocks or not, they carry themselves with so much more confidence than I ever did. And I think at some point I'm going to start coming, but Kori always tries to get me to come to jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, whatever else. And I always have like some hiccup. I don't know whether it's self-doubt or just like not having enough time or telling myself I don't have enough time. But I wish I would have done more like an organized approach, just simply for the fact of having a every day or twice a week or something community that's like, we're going to do this, I don't know, for the same.
They're expecting you to show up.
Yeah.
They need you for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can get that in a lot of different atmospheres, and I got that to an extent at Wendy's working every day.
I worked pretty young too, and it is a hard balance to do both. And we probably learned things that a lot of kids didn't learn till later, though.
Perhaps, yeah.
Well, you were running a store. You were a general manager.
I was manager.
What, 1920?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild.
It was interesting for sure, to say the least. Managing people that were my age all the way up to 40 and 60-year-olds. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of lessons and a lot of different paths you can take. How is your relationship with martial arts? And you can pick one or all the above. How has your relationship with like those kind of things evolved?
That's a good question. I'll let you go first.
With dance, I have learned to, how do I word this? My body awareness was really well, just because, to be able to do that type of movement and stuff, I feel like I was really good at that. But then I came to jiu-jitsu and I realized my body awareness is not great.
It's different.
It is so different. And I don't know, I guess my like relationship with jiu-jitsu has just evolved. Like my body awareness is a lot better because I've had to realize other people's body awareness, like be aware of other people's bodies, like where their hands are, where their feet are, like all of those type of things. But I don't know. I guess just my relationship is good with jiu-jitsu. I don't know. I feel like I'm like taking this in too many different directions.
No, it's like a weird way for me to ask the question. How is your relationship with it? Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
I think coming up in a dance background, and I was on a dance team first. I hadn't taken any studio classes or any kind of formal training. And so the only experience that I had at first was like conform, right? Like you're supposed to all look the same, kick the same height, be moving at the same time. You're in the same pattern. There's a lot of you. And if you do something different, you stand out. So you have to like be perfect. And that was something that was really consuming for me growing up that I didn't realize. That perfectionism of like having to move perfectly and hitting it exactly the same as the girl next to me. But we have different bodies. She can kick herself in the head and I can barely touch my toes, but I'm expected to. Do you know what I mean? So that perfectionism carried over into a lot of different areas of my life for sure. And even up through college. But I had a professor at the end of my college career that kind of took away like the testing or even the timing in the dance. And it was more just about like feeling the movement and feeling what worked for the individual, which was completely a new concept for me because it was like, nope, you have to look like the instructor or the girl next to you. This is the standard. Like ballet is perfection. Like you have to look a certain way, move a certain way.
Perfect hair.
Perfect.
Fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that perfectionism is crippling. Like if you take that attitude, like you're never going to be perfect. Like you have bad days, you are tired, your body is not immortal and it's going to have problems. Like you're going to get hurt. And so I think for me, jiu-jitsu and that last little bit of college feel less like perfectionism than all the other movement I've done. It's not about looking a certain way or being exactly how you're supposed to be all the time. It's about feeling what's right, moving whatever way works for your body with your partner. When they move, you have to give. You can't just, take whatever they're giving, right? Like you have to be able to absorb their energy and move with it. You don't get to be in control all the time. So I love that shift of like, I have to be perfect and control everything to, I don't know what's going to happen and it's going to be okay. And it's fine. Hopefully I don't get hurt.
Well, and just to kind of add on to that, I feel like like in dance, you're always trying to mimic the instructor.
Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu, it's whatever works for the instructor may not work for your body type. Like not exactly anyways. You might have to modify it because whatever works for me might not work for Amanda or Jacob or whatever.
And especially between men and women, like,
Oh, big time.
like I would teach something different than a man might teach it. And the people in the class are going to pull different things from it. Like I can only move my body a certain way. I can't do some things and vice versa. So,
But that's what's been fun to have 4 different instructors.
I do love
It's so cool to see different things from each of you, just because both of you bring something a little bit different to the table each time.
I learned
Teach.
something different from each of them. It's great.
Yeah.
Do you see a difference in the way that like men versus women show up?
Yes, to an extent. I would say sometimes depending on like their why, like everyone has a different why for why they're coming to jiu-jitsu. Some are there for purely just wanting to do something physical or have a fun workout. Other people are there to protect their family or protect themselves, or a lot of law enforcement is involved in jiu-jitsu and it's really helpful for their jobs. So I just feel like it depends on the person, but I don't know if it's a men versus women thing or if it's just an
More of a why
individual.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we have enough women to like really compare, if that makes sense.
probably
Because
not.
I feel like all of us ladies really blend really well with the men. So to me, I don't feel like we necessarily show up different, if that makes
It's not
sense.
like we have a little secret club or
yeah,
something.
like egos or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you learned something have you learned something about yourself through martial arts that you didn't know before, maybe?
So many things. Gotta narrow it down. I learned where the edge of my comfort zone is and then how to
Push it.
push it real hard. I did a 5-on-5 women's tournament after 9 months of training. And everyone else on the team was a blue belt. And it was just me and little 9-monther. I didn't even know. Like, I had just learned how to break out of guard. And I didn't even know. I maybe knew one takedown. I went to our first practice and the coach was like, all right, I want you guys to practice your favorite takedowns because when we go to this tournament, it's not about like, everyone else. It's a submission only tournament. You have to practice your thing. And I looked to the girl next to me. I'm like, what's a takedown? And she's like, you've learned one. I'm sure you've learned one. I'm like, why am I here? Why am I here? So, and every time I thought about going to practice or like the tournament coming up, I had 6 weeks. I mean, my hands would just shake. My heart was racing. I was physically ill for weeks before it. And I mean, public speaking, you kind of get some of those butterflies. I'd get nervous before dance performances. I'd never felt nerves like this. So I definitely learned, oh, I have a limit. Like, I will get up and be silly and dance in front of people all day long. Like, that doesn't bother me. I have no boundaries about that. Jiu-jitsu tournaments or going into a fighting situation, oh, I learned exactly where my comfort zone, where that line is, how far I can push it until I'm going to throw up and bring it back a little bit.
Or you can be like Josh and throw up on the mat and then still keep
And
going.
then keep going. It definitely, like, I didn't think I would have that many nerves going into it. Like, I remember Chance asking, like, there's a tournament coming up. Would anyone want to do that? And I'd only been training for like a month. I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. I'll do that. Like, I had done Taekwondo tournaments. Like, I'm like, sounds great. Let's do it. Now I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, I had no clue what I was like volunteering for. But then I learned I can do it. Like, I can do really hard stuff. And I still get shaky. I still get nervous. I still want to throw up before tournaments. It doesn't matter how many you do. I feel like it's still there. But it's a little bit better each time.
I remember my first tournament. Chance had to walk me around the perimeter of the mats and be like, "Okay, Kori, you're fine. Like you gotta
you
just
down.
breathe.
Take a breath."
Yeah. He was like, "It's okay to smile." I was so nervous.
And it's weird because there's like 8 matches happening at once.
know.
Nobody's really watching just you except for maybe the people who really care about you.
Yeah.
Which they don't care if you win or fail, right?
Right.
Like, they're just there for you. But it feels much different when you're out there doing it. That adrenaline is wild. I'm getting shaky thinking about it.
Me too. I'm like,
Yeah.
2 things that I find are very funny is number one, when you, like you said, when you get nervous, really nervous, you don't talk to anybody, your eyes get really wide, and you just kind of like, stare at the wall like you're going to punch a hole right through it.
Just focused.
The bobbing back and forth like you're just,
You're like a praying
I'm
mantis.
gonna be okay.
Like you're selecting a character in a video game. Like, I noticed that in you, and Chance did too. And I love that he's been able to see that in you. And like with your first tournament, he took you around the mat, around the perimeter of the whole whatever we were in, this big warehouse looking gym thing, and like kind of helped you calm down. And the second funny thing is, I find it funny that whenever people ask us about your jiu-jitsu, they're like, "Oh, so you have any tournaments?" And it's kind of weird. You're like, "Well, I don't do it for like you know, it's like with basketball, you go and you practice for 2 months to play 10 games, or like with dance, you practice for however many weeks or months to do a recital. Like with jiu-jitsu, everyone, like you said, everyone has their own why, and tournaments are fun, but I don't know. It's just a funny thing that
There's lots of people that live for tournaments, and
Right.
Yeah.
that's what they love. I think I told you at my last tournament, I'm like, I don't know if tournaments are for me. Do you remember me
Yeah,
saying that?
I do remember you
because
saying
I
that.
did. Like, I was sick the whole day, like physically ill. I couldn't eat. I was going to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
That was
like,
me.
And I had already competed, and it was just like that adrenaline follows you throughout the day. And it was a lot of buildup before that. It wasn't even just the day of. Like, I was sick, and I'm like, it's a lot. It's mentally taxing. It physically takes a toll. And then you pay a lot of money and drive really far to not do a whole bunch of rounds sometimes, which is discouraging. But I do think there's value in tournaments. It's a good progress checker, because when you're training with the same people all the time, learning the same moves all the time, it feels like you don't ever catch things, or you can't finish submissions or do certain escapes or sweeps or anything, because you're all focusing on the same thing, so you expect it. So if you don't have a lot of time training with other gyms or with other people, or, just different, because there's no like set curriculum, right? Like different gyms are learning different things at different times. So you never know what their focus at their gym has been on. And to go in there and try your skills, and yes, you're in the same belt weight category, you're both women doing it, right? But you can kind of test to see, like, oh, does this work? Does the stuff I've learned actually work? And it's a good little progress checker,
Yeah.
but it's hella scary.
My first tournament, I had only one person in my bracket because I was considered heavyweight. And so it was anywhere from like 160 to 200 pounds. And
There's no limit on it. They
There's-
just put a plus sign
yeah.
next to it.
pretty much.
That's
and
scary.
so I had this girl in my bracket. She was 180 pounds. And I wanted to just cry. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm like, I only weigh 160. What am I going to do? I mean, I know it's
Like
only
20 pounds doesn't sound like a big difference, but when it's 20 pounds on your face, smashing you, it feels like a big difference.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And my
And you killed it
nerves-
though.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
I remember my last round with her. I was just so tired, and she got on top of me. I couldn't get out. And then, what was it? It was like a week later. I told Chance, I'm like, I feel like if a 200-pound dude sat on me, I would be screwed. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, let
felt
me
that.
sit on top of you. Like, let's
Of course he offered.
let's roll this through. But, gosh, yeah.
But it probably like taught you things like, okay, I don't want to get in this position because then I'll be on bottom, and I know I won't get out if they're bigger than me. Like, tournaments have definitely taught me that, because I feel like, yes, you get smashed in the gym, but there's a different level of aggression when you don't know the person, for one.
Oh, big time.
Adrenaline is involved. You're just going for a stupid medal, right? Like, but people, like, it's a big deal, and people don't hold back. And it does feel different. Like, you get into positions that you're like, oh, I'm learning really fast in real time how I screwed up.
Yeah, but I'm the stupid one that stops in the middle and is like, are you okay?
I've done that. I did that.
I do that every freaking time. I did that at Crystal, like when I was for the like blue belt ceremony or whatever. I took her down and like we were rolling, and she knocked her in the face with my elbow or something. And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, she looked at me like I was nuts.
Totally been there.
She's like,
Oh
we
my-
all get our faces
yeah.
elbowed in, Kori.
I
That's-
kicked an audience member at PGI and I stopped. I was like, "Are you all right?" And they're like, "Keep rolling." I'm like, "Okay." Like,
Sorry.
yeah.
What you didn't see is afterwards, they're just like,
Yeah.
I'll feel that tomorrow.
you turn around and start rolling. They're like, oh, that
Yeah.
really hurt. Oh.
That's funny.
Oh my head.
What's another thing? What's another thing you've learned about yourself through jiu-jitsu?
I'm gonna say that it's okay to feel weird. Like there's been so many times that I'm like, I feel so stupid, but then I turn around and there's Gabe, like he's acting stupid with me, so it's like it makes me feel so much better.
That's a good one.
Like
That's a really good one because
Like,
you're
it's
doing
okay
vulnerable
to feel
things.
weird.
You're like trying new stuff, and there's potential like submissions on the line, and it can feel kind of scary if you just try stuff. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
well, and I feel like it's carried like outside as well. Like it's okay to be different and do things different ways. Because I've always been, like I'm gonna confine to my box and try not to draw attention to myself, So I guess it helps. It's helped me in a lot of ways, just because it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be yourself.
It's not weird. It's jujitsu.
It's not weird. It's jiu-jitsu. I'm just telling you, I want a sweater that says that
It's not weird, it's jiu-jitsu.
with all of our little quotes.
That's a good one. This sounds cliche, but like I learned that I can physically do really hard stuff. Like there's something different between like, oh, I'm going to run for this really long time and it's going to be physically demanding or hard, or even like executing complex dance routines or other sports that I've tried. It's way different than feeling like you can't breathe because somebody's sitting on top of you. Like I've been cut in half twice. Like they took babies out of me twice by cutting me in half. And this felt harder sometimes. So I'm like, I feel like, and I even had that thought at a tournament once. This girl was so heavy on me and I was on bottom and I was stuck. And I'm like, I've been cut in half before. I can get out from underneath her. I've done hard stuff. This shouldn't be this difficult right now. Like I literally got sliced. You can do this, Amanda. Buckle up. So I think just the mental toughness is something I've learned about myself probably.
I would have to say ditto.
It's like 90% mental game for me, 10% physical. Yes, I can do really hard things physically, but it's telling my mind that I can do it over and over and over. That's the hardest part.
I think another thing that I've learned is that it really doesn't matter how much you weigh, if that makes sense. Like I came into jiu-jitsu very, I don't know, like I've always been very like afraid of my weight, you know what I mean? So I was very scared that I would be the overweight person in the class. But I just don't feel that anymore. Like I don't like when I first started coming, I was afraid to wear shorts because I felt
me
like
too.
my thighs were too big, or I felt like, like that just stupid things that I've started to realize that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sometimes I've found myself wanting to be heavier.
Me too. When someone's like, gosh, you're so heavy, I'm like, that's the best thing somebody said to me all day.
Thanks for the
Thank you so
compliment.
much. I was thinking all of my heavy thoughts. I agree with that 100%.
I guess it just like taught me that, like your self-image is not necessarily correct all the time.
Probably most of the
Yes,
time.
body dysmorphia is real. Doesn't matter how thin or heavy or fit you are, like everyone of every shape and size can have body dysmorphia for sure.
And they can also do jiu-jitsu.
And they can also do jiu-jitsu. I love the study of somatotyping. Like thinking about that though, like I don't know if you know what that is, but it kind of categorizes different body shapes and characteristics into some categories. You can be crossover in between them, but I love the study of it. And it's so interesting because it kind of helps you appreciate that these things that maybe you discount as like weaknesses, like, oh, I'm not good at this or that, or I gain weight really easily. I walk by a cheeseburger and gain 5 pounds or whatever it is. But there's ways that you can look at those things as strengths instead of weaknesses because they help you do something else, or some body types aren't able to do other things. Or, for example, one body type is usually predominantly more flexible. And that might be really great when you're doing an armbar. Like if you're getting armbarred, right? You can sometimes wiggle out of it if you're more flexible. But someone who's stronger might be able to just bicep curl that person up too.
Muscle
So
through it.
I'm like, there's strengths in everything, and it helps me appreciate like every body type and what their capabilities are instead of like idolizing one perfect body for the sport,
Yeah.
because there's not. Like,
I love that for this sport,
yes,
though.
there's something for every body type.
I agree, 100%.
So, what are some common misconceptions that people will have about jiu-jitsu or martial arts?
Did you have to be in shape before you start? Like, I can't start until I'm in peak condition. It will whip you into shape.
I'll say it whips me into shape every week.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever felt at peak condition because I always find a way to get
Yeah,
tested more,
especially with Casey.
especially.
Love it.
Yeah, I would say waiting to start until the perfect everything aligns. Like, oh, I'll just do it when I can commit to be there every single class. Or I'll do it when I am in better shape. Or I'll do it when I feel better about myself in some way. I have more self confidence. Or I think the hardest thing to do is just start. Even if it's just once a week or once a month, like committing and sticking to that plan, showing up, walking through that door.
I don't know who I heard it from, but I was told that the hardest class you'll ever attend is your first day.
Yeah.
And it's just stepping through the door, just getting there.
I don't remember my second, my third, my
Me
fifth
either.
week. I
but
remember that
remember
first
my
class.
first.
I do.
Yep. 100%.
I think another misconception is that people think, well, I can't do that because I'm just going to get hurt. Like, I'm too old to start something new. I'm too old to.
I hate when people say that.
Yeah, me too. I heard somebody say that the other day, I'm too old to learn new things. And I was like, excuse me? Like, I disagree. I 100% disagree. I don't think there's an age limit on it. Yes, your body's going to move differently than somebody else. Like, I can't keep up with 20-year-olds. Kori pins me down and keeps me there all day long. All day long. Right? So I just think not setting unrealistic expectations, but that doesn't mean you can't try it or that you're going to get injured just because you're coming. If you have a good training partner and you are upfront about, hey, this is how hard I can go. I'm brand new. I want to learn this or that, or I'm not ready to roll today. Like, you can prevent injury. You can learn anything.
And what's cool is like nobody in here is going to judge you for that.
No.
Like they're going to be like, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah.
sit out this round. You're like, whatever.
Exactly. Which is how it should be.
Agreed.
That's what makes a safe space where you can learn stuff and be silly and look down and voice your needs like that. It wouldn't work without that.
No, I agree. What did you think jiu-jitsu was?
Yeah, I want to do one of those street interviews where you just walk around and be like, "What's jiu-jitsu?" and just ask everyone's answer and see all
would be
these old
cool.
people's answers. It'd be so
I
funny.
think it would be awesome.
So ask the question again. Sorry.
Before I had like really started jiu-jitsu, what was your like conception? Like what did you think jiu-jitsu was?
Like before you brought it up, period, or before you like explained it to
like
me?
explained it to you.
I thought it was literally like just self-defense.
Self
Like I remember the way you brought it up to me was like, I want to take this class. They have a couple going on this week, and if I wanted to keep doing it, it would be like 3-4 times a week, whatever it was. Maybe it was more when it started, maybe it was less. But you were like within the first 6 months of chance starting, maybe a year. Anyways, short answer, I thought it was self-defense. Yeah. Like strictly self-defense.
That's fair. It is. It is self-defense.
It really
It is that.
Yeah. Now when people ask me, what is jiu-jitsu? I tell them, it's like wrestling.
That's what I tell them
But
too. It's
on
pretty
steroids.
close. Wrestling with a little bit of choking. A lot of choking. And joint locks. I first saw jiu-jitsu on like UFC or other things like that, and I thought it was boring. Well, don't tell anyone I said that. Just told everybody. I was like, what? This is dumb. Like, get up and kick each other and punch each other. Like, why are you just hugging on the ground? Because I didn't understand. It's just like, I don't understand golf. Golf looks boring. I don't understand the rules of it. Yeah, I don't get it, so it seems boring. But I'm sure all those golf players out there are like, oh, there's so much to it, like the wind and the grass and the there's so much to it. So once
Tell her, Kori, we've been golfing. Tell her.
you've been golfing? Did I just offend
Twice.
you?
I've only been told.
Oh, see, I've still never been. But once I learned what jiu-jitsu was and that it was like micro movements to gain advantage in little ways to get into a more dominant position, and that it is slow and calculated most of the time, or if it is fast, there's still like a lot happening. It's not just hugging. I just didn't understand. So I think,
chess.
yeah, I think the more you understand it, the more you can appreciate it. But I think that applies to everything. Everything. Like, I appreciate ballet now that I know a lot more about it. I don't want to do ballet, but I can understand how difficult it is.
I couldn't do ballet.
This is reminding me of on Kung Fu Panda when Po like gets the crap beat out of him and he like just gets back up again.
Yep.
And they're like, what are you, like, are you serious? You want me to beat you up again? So they take turns beating him up. Like, that's the way you've explained it to me, and the way that like you guys are talking about it right now is
Again.
willing to get your face beat up and like push into the ground and then like, yeah, let's go again. Just shrug it off. And I don't have that strength, but you guys do.
It's a weird adrenaline thing. I don't know how to describe it. It gets a little bit addictive. Last week I got a chunk of my hair ripped out so big that I saved it in a plastic bag because I think in a couple of months I could probably make a braid. It would be
Souvenir.
one of the 3 strands of the braid. It's quite a bit, but I didn't even feel it. Like,
That's how bad it's getting for
that's
me.
how bad it is. The whole underneath is just baby hairs because it's all just been pulled out.
You know, they say heroin addicts lose hair as well.
What are you saying? What are you insinuating right now? I'm just kidding.
Oh, man.
My drug is jiu-jitsu.
My drug of choice is jiu-jitsu. What's that? I've never been on it.
Yeah, it's good. It's expensive. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Can't get
I
off
was
of
going
it.
to say, what was the movie that we watched with Kevin? No, not Kevin.
Oh, Here Comes the Boom. Yeah, Kevin
Yes.
James.
Oh, that's a good
Oh
one.
my heck. He watched that and he's like, I've got so much more respect for this show.
Yeah, we watched that last year. And after, what, 2 or 3 years of you doing this at that point, I was like, I watched that show and I'm like, I'm hearing these terms. I know what this, I can't remember the terms now. But like, listen to Joe Rogan and all them talk about it and everything. And I'm like,
You understand what's
I understand
going on.
even just 10% more. I have an appreciation for how he's like down there on the ground, on the bottom of this guy's butt, like sitting there just like get sat on and figure out. Anyways, have an appreciation for that movie now and for the sport overall.
I always tell him, gotta go roll around with a bunch of sweaty dudes.
From Holland, yeah. That's a good quote.
I'm like, it's the truth. That's
It
where I'm
is.
going.
100%. 100%.
Oh.
Yeah. I know we talked about it a little bit, but do you see a shift in how you present yourselves and how you carry yourselves in public
Oh,
after?
yes.
And how so?
I guess I didn't really realize that I was making myself pray almost. Like I'd walk around hoodie up. Like I was not I would not walk around confidently. I mean, I'm still not very good at doing that. But I mean, before jiu-jitsu, I did not carry myself with very much confidence. Not saying that I'm like an egomaniac or anything like that. But
No, but
Sure,
the
no.
awareness that like you have like some skills if the thing arose that you needed to use them.
yeah,
You're not just going to helplessly lay there.
exactly. But I feel like I carry myself very differently than I did.
I definitely do too. And even doing other forms of martial arts or other performance movement kind of things, it is different. Like, it's transformed my body in different ways. Like, I feel stronger. I feel more comfortable in the skin I'm in than I ever have, too. So I think just having that, like, awareness of what my body can do for me that I didn't realize before. It was really easy to pick apart, like, my flaws, especially after having some babies and C-sections. Like, my body was never the same. And it was easy to just be like, well, I want this back and I want this back and I want to look this way. And it's easy to get really down on yourself. In general, I think men and women both do it, but having that awareness for what my body is capable of and what it does for me every day, like, I want to take care of it better. I want to present myself more confidently and be able to take up space without apologizing. Like, I'm just like, my body does cool stuff. I'm not going to hide it. Like, and just be over here in the no, I'm going to feed it good food and I'm going to work out. I don't know. I definitely think about my body differently since starting.
Definitely.
How do you define strength?
I would say it's not just physical, right?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like jiu-jitsu is a huge mental game. I think it can be such a big mental game.
Well, you're
Even for
failing
just,
all
like-
the time. One person has to lose every time somebody wins. So 50% of the time you're failing.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big failure rate.
It's
So I
true,
think
though.
coming back all the time and doing it again and again, that takes some mental strength.
I think so too.
That's what I think of when I think of strength in jiu-jitsu. Like, there's a lot of jokes about strength being bad in jiu-jitsu. It should be technique over strength. But if we're talking literally about strength.
Yeah. If I were to ask you before you started in this, what would you have said? Like, how
What
do you define
strength is
strength? Yeah.
before? Probably, I just would have said something cliche like
Muscles.
muscles. You lift weights a lot. I don't know.
No, I would agree
lift
with
heavy
that.
shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Walk through that wall.
You don't need somebody to help you pack up your moving stuff when you're moving. That's strength. No, I don't know. Okay.
So who would win in a sparring match between the two of you?
Corey,
Her.
every time.
No. No. It's
Every
Amanda.
time.
Every
Once you
time.
get in those legs, you're never getting out. It is well known throughout the gym that if you get in Corey's guard or she gets a hold of one of your arms or your legs or your, heaven forbid, your head in her legs, you're there for the rest of the round.
I've experienced the same thing. She'll come home and be like, "Can I teach you something, a new technique? Can I like do this armbar on you or do this?"
The rest of the round.
And then all of a sudden, I have to be anywhere but like between her legs, like
Yes.
it, like my arm, my legs, my head, and all of a sudden I'm like, if anything, if she gets me between her legs and she's holding me there, I'm like, I'm done. This hurts. She's like, I haven't even done the thing yet, and I'm like, it hurts. I'm done. You can't even get into it. We're like on the carpet and like 50 different ways of killing me or squeezing the life out of me.
He acts like I'm like abusing him. Like
yeah, you're so
No, the
mean.
funny thing is we go to church and you're the one that has all the bruises, and it makes me look like I'm abusive.
Or she's clumsy. She could just be running into everything.
Right.
that's what you should start telling people. She's just clumsy.
That sounds even worse. Yeah, Corey for sure.
No.
Does it change in different?
If I get on top and I get lucky that I got on top before she took me down, then
See,
maybe I can hold a side
I
control.
feel like you have
or-
speed all day long.
because I cannot get out from bottom otherwise. That is my only saving grace.
You got speed for days.
I do
my
have
gosh.
speed.
Yeah.
So does it change when you go into different martial arts, like Muay Thai? Does it change, or is that not really measured the same? Like, what would you say there?
She's got some power there too, though.
So does Amanda. I mean, I feel like you've got the speed for Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and stuff. Like, I feel like that's something that I really lack in. I make up for it in different ways. But
I would not want to be on the other side of a round kick from her, though, without a pad. Like, for reals. It's intense. I can only imagine an elbow.
What's your martial arts pet peeve? List them out.
Probably ego.
Thank you. That's a huge pet peeve
Like
of mine.
underestimating someone else because you think you're better in some way, or oh, you're just a girl, or oh, you're just a small dude. Like ego. Not tapping soon enough because they think they can hang
Oh,
on to
that's
something.
stupid.
Like just ego in general causes injuries, causes a lot.
Yep.
Emotional.
So glad that I
Yeah.
was thinking
I
that
can't
same
stand
thing.
it.
I was like, ego
Or like if somebody
drives me nuts.
thinks that they know better than like somebody else in the class when they're trying to get help, or I don't know, like just being willing to learn from anyone. Like it doesn't matter who it is, you can learn something from everyone. I feel like
Exactly.
I just really have very little patience for ego.
Me too.
There isn't, I haven't encountered a lot of it in the different places I've been, but yeah, there has been a few. Like there was one at the Taekwondo thing where it didn't end like in a super good conversation because it was about ego. It was like not about learning and not about like anybody really growing and progressing. It was just about who's the coolest and toughest. Very Cobra Kai.
My pet peeve for myself, I don't know if you do this, but like when my hair falls out.
Dude,
I hate when my
that's the
hair falls out.
worst.
It doesn't bother me with anybody else in the gym. I don't know what it is, but it's when my hair falls out. It's like all over and it's a mess. I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, we have
It
to
drives
redo
me
it 50
nuts.
times the class anyway. But I have not found a good hairstyle that works. Like, I was watching Helena Cravar roll, and she always does those high pigtails with the rubber bands, like all the way back.
My
But
rubber bands
all of her
break.
hair is there. And I'm like, how does she still have hair when it's down all the time? She's magic. That's how. But I don't know. My hair is that's why so many girls shave the bottom part so it doesn't get pulled. But I would look like Gollum. Smeagol. I would just have a couple of pieces. If I shaved the bottom. Not thick enough for that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hair.
But I like
It's in
my
your
hair.
mouth. It's all over the place. That
Yeah.
is a good pet peeve.
But that's like for myself. Other people's hair really, it really
You can
doesn't
say
bother
it.
me.
You've probably swallowed one or two of my hairs.
Probably. Probably.
I remember,
Vice versa.
I remember when I very first started training, my hair was blue, and I was rolling with Chance, and he was like, "But it does not taste like cotton candy." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your hair is in my mouth." So sorry.
That's amazing. Ooh, when when like people that are just starting walk onto the mat with socks on. It like aches me out. I don't know what it is. I mean, the socks are probably just as clean as their feet are.
Right.
But I don't know what it is about socks. I don't know what it is. It's like,
You'd rather have those feet in the nude.
I don't know.
but I don't like socks in general. Like I love being barefoot.
Me too. Me too. I get like a little bit anal about bare feet touching anything out here and then coming on there. Like I just want to grab a Lysol wipe immediately. My OCD kicks in.
Let me sanitize your feet for you.
It makes sense though. Like
I mean, our faces are on the mat, so it's one thing to go into the bathroom without shoes, but even out here, I'm like, I've seen a couple of kids run from their parents' cars in without shoes, and I'm like, no, hold on, let me get it. I'm that
Yeah.
one that's
No,
like,
no,
stop,
no.
we're gonna wash your feet.
oh no, you got to get
No,
them
I
like
don't
to
know.
the habit of
Well, the last thing you want is like skin infections.
Right?
Nobody wants that.
sure
Ew.
or any myriad of sicknesses.
Yes, you.
Another
it.
thing I hate is when I get cuts.
Yes.
I feel like the stupid like burns, like the mat burns.
Yes.
But this is like own like stuff that I deal
scrapes
with
from
it,
long
like,
fingernails.
from myself. This isn't from like other people.
Do you guys have a pre-training ritual, or like if it's a tournament, a warm-up thing to get yourself in the zone?
I feel like I have to put myself in the zone to come in here sometimes, because I feel like when I'm at work, I put up a different front. Like I'm customer service. I am, I'm happy. I'm go lucky, But when I come in here, I feel like I I breathe and I can just come in here, do my thing.
It is different. And sometimes, like, for me, it's like leaving the other stuff at home or where it is. Like, if it's like, oh, I've been really stressed about this work thing, or like I've been running around all day and I feel anxious, like I have to leave that at the door because I can't take that out on somebody else. Like, it's not fair to them. I would say, unless it's Kori. No, I'm just kidding. I would say before like a tournament, for sure, like I am like all about headphones, music that pumps me up. I have like this electrolyte drink that makes me not feel so nauseous. It's just tons of salt. I literally got so nauseous one time, like dry cotton mouth, and that was the only thing that saved me. So I'm like, there's definitely some things that I've tried that I'm like, I stick with that. It works, but I haven't competed enough to have like a ritual probably.
Same.
Just a couple of tricks that helped.
I get too nervous. I really, there's a place in my heart that really wants to compete, but I just don't have, like, I keep thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. But then I get thinking about it, and then my heart starts beating, and then I start to shake, and then I'm like, okay, no,
It's
I
real.
can't do it. I can't do it.
It's real. Sometimes I have to sign up and experience all of those feelings for like 6 weeks. And then it's like, well, I already paid, so
Unless
no
you're
going back
Gabe.
now.
Does it last minute, and
know.
then just was like, I didn't want to have to think about it.
I thought about signing up. There's one on the 12th of this month, and I thought about just doing it last minute, just so I could just not have to be stressed until right the day before. But then
Yeah, but then you have to pay like the
it's
late
extra
entry or
money.
what. Yeah, I was talking to
Yeah.
Gabe about that. I'm like, I'm such a money pinch.
Same.
I'm like, if I can save a penny here and there, I will. I am that
That
person.
is absolutely you.
I do feel like too though, like I went and checked all the brackets, and it does get like harder to compete the older you get, like the higher you are in weight and the higher you are in belt.
Really?
Like just fewer people compete as you progress along those tracks, I feel like. So I'm in the masters, and I'll soon be double masters because I'll be 40 in a year. So it's like you have to go to a whole nother level. I mean, I could compete with the 20-year-olds, but you have the option to compete down on age. And maybe someday I will. That feels like a lot of a workout. But then also, like, the higher that you get in belt or in weight, like, there's less and less people in each division. Like, last time I went against the same girls so many times. Like, it's hard to pay that much money to roll with one person 4 times.
Yeah.
And then be like you're going there to get experience to see if these skills, like, it's your progress chart, right? So you're like trying to see, like, does this work? You want to try it on lots of different people that you don't normally roll with. It's just hard.
See, I
They're expensive.
signed up for one last year, and I was all ready.
Yeah.
You know, I had gone through that mindset. Chance had talked me through it. We were good to go. And when they came out with the brackets, there was nobody in my bracket.
I remember that.
And it like crushed my soul. Because I was like, wow, you know, I'm heavyweight. Nobody's going to be in my bracket. And they wouldn't let me compete up a belt for some reason. Because Chance is like, ask them if you can, you know, compete up. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, they wouldn't let me compete up a belt. So
That's interesting. Like, nope, absolute division only.
yeah.
Dumb.
That is interesting. I know to kind of mix a pre-ritual with the nerves that come with the game. I know an NFL quarterback, Josh Allen, who to get himself in the zone, he has to puke before the game. Then he's like, all right, I'm good. Like he has to get it out of
Can
the
he
system,
force
and then he's
himself to
okay.
do
That's
that?
what I need to do.
I don't know if he forces himself to, or if it just comes because he's nervous before each game. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but I know he does that. He has to go and find a trash can before the game. He can't get on the field until he's like done that, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm good.
Interesting.
Now I'm in the zone, or now I can get in the zone." Anyways, it's kind of interesting there.
It is interesting to like talk to different people about this topic though, because there's people who don't get nervous. Like some people don't experience the same level of nerves as other people. I know people in the gym that are just like, they get nervous, sure, but not to the same extent. It seems like that it has the same like physiological effects. Like their heart doesn't like, it feels like they're having a heart attack. They're just like, yeah, like, I guess I'm kind of nervous. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, either you're masking this super well and you're lying to my face, or you just don't feel it the same way. So I don't know if just my anxiety plays into that, but
I
everyone's a
feel
little
like I can
different.
keep it in pretty well. But the people that are around me, like
Chance
this
knew.
one right here,
You knew.
like Chance, they really have to. It's almost like they have to hype me up before I do anything. It's the dumbest thing ever.
I get super fidgety. Like I'll just like stand and like, and my knee will start bouncing and I'll go. I just can't sit still. So there's no hide in mine.
If there was any particular
Person
athlete,
that we look up to.
yeah, that you could train under, it could be
Ooh.
anybody, literally anybody in the sport, local or national or international, whatever it might be. If there's anybody you could train under, who would it be?
I think it'd be really cool to train under Jocko. Or roll with him a few times. I think it would be, I think my,
It'd be enlightening.
yeah. Or just to like, I don't know, just to see his like mindset about things. I feel like his training would be very different than what I do.
He'd be so calm through all of it.
I know. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe that would be really good for me. I don't know. I think, oh, who was I saying on the way over here?
Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson would have been a cool one.
That would be cool.
You could probably pull so many cool things. I mean, just any of the greats. You line them up against a wall. You're like, I want all of them.
Right.
I want to learn from all. Like, I don't know. Just one of those fun questions. I was like, I wonder what they'll say.
I recently watched Kayla Harrison's fight in UFC, and I don't know anything about her, so I feel weird dropping a name like that. But I was really impressed by like her personality before the fight, and like some of the stuff that she's posted. I'm like, she seems pretty cool. She's freaking ripped too, so she's probably got lots of little secrets. She'll probably teach me some stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess I get to train under all of my heroes right now.
Yeah.
Me too.
So going back to what you said about like the first day being the hardest day, how did you guys get over that first day? And then like if there's someone that's coming and they're like, I don't know if I want to go again. What do you say? Like, no, that was the hardest. Like, keep coming. Like, I don't know. What do you tell that guy or that girl? And sorry, how did you get it through it first off?
I honestly was just like, screw it. Like, I'm going to try it. I'd be really bad at it, but, and I don't know. I came on with the mindset of not expecting much. So, I don't know. And I expected to suck at it. And I still suck at it.
Never.
But I don't know. I guess just do it. I mean, that's the stupidest like thing to say, but like you need to just step through the door. Just try it.
I would say making like a commitment to yourself and stop worrying about like what other people might be saying or what they're going to say when you're not there, you are there. Like showing up for yourself first. Like, yes, it's easier to show up to a group class if someone's expecting you to be there. So I've done that before totally. Like, hey, you want to come to this class with me? You're counting on me to give you a ride. So that makes me have to go, right? I totally have done that. But I think just deciding for yourself that you want to try something new that pushes your comfort zone, that is a little bit scary. You know, maybe you try it for a while and it isn't for you, but you gave it an honest shot. Like you really tried it instead of just like, how can you know from one day? That's like taking a pottery class and being really bad at throwing a pot on the first day and then saying, I'm never trying this again. Like it takes years to master that. So I don't know. I feel like you just have to commit to yourself to give it an honest shot more than a day.
And it's funny because like after that first class, it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah, because there's so much to
You're
it.
surrounded by all of these freaking badasses and you're like, I want to be like them. I still feel that. I'm like,
do
I
too.
want to be like that.
Every class, I'm like, when you learn something new, even if it's something you've learned 100 times, there's something new to be learned. And it's like, oh, it's a little bit addictive because there is so many new moves and new things being invented or tweaked all the time. So like it's a never ending thing. Like it doesn't stop at black belt. Like you literally could learn jiu-jitsu for the rest of your life and it would be something new all the time because you're learning different patterns within your own body and then whoever you're working with. Every training partner is like half the equation. So it's like different every time.
Yeah.
It's addicting.
What's the one syndrome? Do you ever feel imposter syndrome?
I'm very familiar with that term. Yes. All the time.
Because I feel it all the time.
All the time.
Because people come up to me and they're like, you do jiu-jitsu. You're a freaking badass. I'm like, I don't feel like a badass.
Sometimes I feel it even when I'm alone. It doesn't even have to be like initiated by someone else. I had an experience a couple of months ago. I was trying to get rid of a piano, and it was a sketchy situation to start with. I was dumb, and we were trying to get rid of it. Posted it at Facebook Marketplace. This guy's like, I can come get it today. And I'm like, Nick is my husband. I'm like, Nick's going to be so excited when he comes home and we don't have a piano anymore. I'm doing it. So I was like, yeah, you can come at 10. Great. Bring friends. It's heavy. Like, I don't think I can help you lift it. My stairs are steep. Well, he shows up by himself and he just has like these 2x4s and he's like, yeah, I just figured I could like put some wood on the stairs and just like kind of shove it down. I'm like, who's going to catch it at the bottom? Because I told you to bring friends. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll show you the piano. You can look at it at least. Like, it's inside this way. And he just walked into my house through my back door, like ahead of me. And I was like, well, that was kind of weird. Like, very comfortable just walking into a stranger's house. And I was like, that was kind of weird. And there was a couple other weird red flags in the process where I had showed him the front steps, how hard it was going to be to get it down. And then he closed the front door and walked back to my living room and just stood there. And I'm home alone, middle of the day. My kids are at school. My dog was in the house, but I started panicking a little bit, thinking, I don't know if I can defend myself in this situation. He's giving me all sorts of weird vibes. He's very comfortable in my home, and I've never met him before. He came without people when I told him to bring people. Did I just set myself up to get, like, murdered? Like, I was spiraling a little bit, and I definitely had a whole bunch of imposter syndrome thoughts of, like, I've been training jiu-jitsu for 2.5 years, and I don't even know if I could, like, he's way bigger than me. I don't even know. Like, I started, like, freaking out and thinking, like, all the things and, like, telling my dog to come here. And, like, I just opened the door and was like, I think you should go. And he's, like, trying to carry on a conversation still and, like, tried to close the door again. It was wild, you guys. I still have the piano in my living room. It was enough of, like, a thing at the time that, like, as soon as he left, I just started crying because I'd never been in, like, a situation where I felt so unsafe in my own space. Does that make sense? And I, like, called Nick immediately. I'm like, I think I just kind of was stupid today. Like, I told this guy to come to my house in the middle of the day when I was alone, and he was super weird. I told him to leave. He says he's going to come back tonight. Like, I blocked him, but I don't want him to come back. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm freaking out. And it was a lot of self-reflection over the next couple of days of, like, holy cow, maybe I haven't prepared myself mentally enough that if, like, I was, of course, thinking, like, could I jump off the couch and maybe get a rear naked choke behind him before he, like, and I was, like, looking for a weapon. Like, he was, like, a full-on cowboy boots, everything. And I'm like, does he have a gun? Like, how's this going to end? And I know I probably spiraled, right? Like, maybe it was completely innocent, but my brain was just throwing red flags. And for several days after, it was like, would I have been able to do it? I don't know. And it kind of changed my thinking a little bit that maybe I needed to do some of the mental work beforehand because I definitely thought I was there. And then when faced with the situation, I was freaking out. So if anyone wants a piano.
Moral of the story.
I don't play. It's
That's
just
definitely
sitting
what I
there.
took away.
Yeah. I won't tell you where I live, but I could meet you at Walmart with my piano. I'm just kidding.
Drive 40 minutes down to Logan. That is crazy. That
And
is
like I
wild.
said, maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just my brain. Like, you know how sometimes you'll be in a situation, you're like, where's the closest exit if something went wrong, right? Like,
Yeah.
your brain does this survival mode thing sometimes. And maybe it was just one of those things, but it did open my mind to how much like voids I had that I needed to fill mentally. And since then I've had a ton of imposter syndrome of like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like it was me and one other dude and I didn't feel like I could defend myself. And I roll with guys all the time. All the time. But it was eye opening. And I have it in every other area of my life too. I don't know. Just
Amen.
I have pretty high standards for myself.
I think it's a natural thing. I think it's something we all like go through. I mean, I've always faced it as a creative person. I've always faced it. Just like there's always somebody that I'll look up to, and at times when I'm looking up to them, I put them on this pedestal, and I'm like, they do way better stuff than me. They, I don't know, make better videos, have more clients, make more money, whatever the metric might be. A comparison game is an easy thing to say. I just don't compare yourself, but it's like it's a weird it's a hard thing not to, and especially as humans where we all would love to have the perfect life, and we all look at the cars that we drive and that our friends drive and the houses we have and that our friends have, and it can be anything. It can be huge things like marriages, and it can be crazy tiny things too, like, oh man, those towels are better than our towels, like the stupidest
Totally had that thought.
tiniest things. And you're like, if I just like made more money, I'd be able to afford. I don't know, or like if
Yeah.
I just spent more time on this, or if I just even if it's like sometimes you chalk it up to be things that are out of your control, like the things that make you you and the things that make them them are totally things that like God made it that way, and you're not supposed to change it. Like that, I don't know.
Well, it's really easy to compare it to like maybe they've been working at something for 10 years and you don't know that. Like
Yeah.
you don't know all the struggle they went through or all the work they've done up to
Absolutely.
that point, and you're comparing it to your first interaction. You're like, man, they're so much better than me at that. But you don't like they might be thinking like, man, they're picking this up fast. I had to work 10 years for this. Like it goes
Right.
both ways.
Right.
But it's so easy to compare your failure to someone else's success without thinking about how long it took them to get there.
Isn't that the truth?
I do it all the time.
Absolutely. So you own the gym now,
Yeah.
Amanda, you and Nick.
Yeah.
What has that been like? And like, what was your first, just take me through that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a month officially today. Woo! Happy birthday. 1 month.
That's awesome. I definitely planned this day knowing
Yeah,
it would be
I
a month.
know you did.
Like on your 1 month anniversary, tell me.
Yes.
Got the shirts and the hat.
It's been good. It has been a whirlwind. It definitely wasn't something I was like planning for in my life plan, like not on my bingo card, right? But it's been so good. And it's been so fulfilling and comfort zone stretching. Yeah, so it was the end of May. We found out that the gym might end up closing. And me and my daughter both train here. And I run a full-time business already on the side, and my husband works full-time. And so in my mind, like, I was never going to start a jiu-jitsu gym. I'm happy to be a forever student, like literally. But I do love like business and like creating and community and like having the idea of like creating as a community. And so when I found out that the space where I've been doing that, creating with a community, was going to close, I was pretty devastated. And so it kind of just happened really fast. It was within like 2 weeks of finding that out till deciding that we were going to do it and sign papers. Like it was very quick. And some people probably thought, oh, this has just been stewing for forever. Nope. I had no idea it was coming. But I just couldn't see it close. Like I was just too passionate about what I've gained from it, or the friendships and the community I felt, what it's done for my daughter and what she's gained from it. It's her main sport right now. And I was just like, it crushed me a little. So
You make me cry.
I know I'm emotional about it. So here we are, just taking leaps and doing super uncomfortable things.
That's awesome. What's the? I know I asked this question about like other kids that you teach, but what's the difference in your daughter been since she's done this?
Definitely confidence. I remember her very first tournament that she did. It was pretty emotional. I mean, she got slammed hard. She's a tall girl and she's a bigger girl, and she got put in with the teenagers when she was 9 and got thrown on her back, got the wind knocked out of her. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore, because it was scary. And this
like, I don't blame
14-year-old
ya.
just dropped her, and it was a really good takedown. And I just seeing the confidence of her being able to like help newer students walk through things, or even my husband just started training this last month. It's his month 1, and I'm so proud of him. He's amazing. It's a very vulnerable thing to do as an adult. She's been like being able to help him through it. So he'll have questions and he goes and asks her, and seeing her confidence be like, well, yeah, but if you do this, I'm going to put you in this, and I'm going to do this, and this is next. This is why you want to do this. And she has answers, and she has the confidence to be like, I can move my body and make it do these things. It's awesome. And I've just seen her get so strong, and she has like such a little fighter spirit. Yeah.
I love that. Both
She
of your
amazes
girls
me.
have such fighter spirits.
My other daughter just started Muay Thai. She likes Muay Thai better than Jiu-Jitsu. We're a month in. We'll see if that changes. But I'm trying to
That
get
is
her to do
awesome.
both.
It's awesome.
That
She's
is
a figure
seriously cool.
skater, so like her schedule is full. I get it. She's got a sport, but yeah.
How old are your daughters?
11 and 13.
That is cool. That is
Almost
awesome.
12 and 13. It's wild.
What things are you going to keep about the gym, and what things are you going to change?
Oh, that's a hard one. There wouldn't be a gym without what Chance and Rachel built. It was his baby. It's essentially him. Like the buffalo symbol is very personal for him. And all of those things are things that I love about this space. Like I found myself here. This is the space that I fell in love with the sport. And what he created here, like, is kind of magic. So in my opinion, like there's a lot of things that it would be a disservice to change, and like changing the way that the community and how we interact and our focus here, like it is mostly like people who can only come 1 to 2 times a week, who might be like a mom or a dad or have kids, or have jobs that are demanding, or other things in their life that are taking up the majority of their time. And they come here because they love it. They're not coming here to make this their full-time job, for the most part. And so I think that is different between some gyms, but that the culture here is like a little bit more relaxed, I would say, but it is very forgiving if you go on vacation or have other things in your life. Like, just come back when you can. Like, that's great. We want you here whenever you can be here. And I think that is something that should never change. It needs to feel welcoming to the life that you have outside of the gym too. There's like small things that are going to have to change, like no matter what, right? Like benches break and we have to buy couches, or like things just fall apart over time. We have to buy new pads, or things are going to have to be replaced eventually. And maybe small traditions and things that we do might change as things grow, or we get more kids and have to do like promotion things at different times, or there's things that might just change depending on how things go in the future. But for right now, like we're pretty happy with everything that was created in the community that we have. So I don't have any specific answer for that.
No, that was a great answer. Kudos to you guys, seriously. What would it have been like had you not? I mean, you wouldn't be here. Like, what's the difference had you not gone through with it and decided to buy it and whatever?
I probably would have just begged Chance to come to his house all the time, every day, because that was his plan, was to take the mats home, and I'd be like, hey, can I come play? Like every day. I don't know. There is a gym in Logan that I really, really admire, and they're awesome. And we're kind of partnered with them. It's Cache Valley Martial Arts, so through Kofi. There, he's a phenomenal instructor, and we do a lot of partnering up on like promotions and stuff with him. I'm gonna start training with him soon, so I am excited about that.
Yeah.
But I think that probably would have been my plan, but it would have been hard to go like as it is with the schedule. It's in Logan, so I wouldn't have been able to go as often. But I wouldn't have stopped training. I would have figured it out, but it probably would have just had to happen less often, which would have sucked.
Sure.
What about you?
Same for me. I mean, I think I would be asking Rachel every day.
During your lunch breaks, go to the break
Literally.
room and roll.
Have her be in her office at your work, just like, hey, can I just come in here and like take you out on the mat real quick?
Can I just choke you for a minute?
Yeah, you would have had a lot more workplace violence, probably, huh?
Well, we always joked, you know.
Maybe a lot less because you take it out on the mat.
Yeah, she always joked with me. Like, she'd walk out before me sometimes to come to noon class when she would come. And she would be like, see you on the mats. You know, come get beat up. And then we'd always come back with bruises. And our boss was always like, man,
Bruises,
doing
sweaty
okay."
hair, your makeup smeared down your face. Yeah.
Literally. But no, it would not be the same. I mean, I think that I probably would have ended up going to Logan and
I mean, I
trying
am
to make
anyway.
it work,
Yeah.
but it would have been a lot harder, and I would be doing it a lot less. But no, I think I'd figure out a way to be able to do this.
It's got its hooks in us good.
I know. And now
Chin
for
is
the
strong.
gut-wrenching question. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have anything else on that. Just explain to me real quick, because I think you explained like with the asset thing, be an asset, not a liability.
Ooh, the name asset. Obviously, I think it's super cool that Chance and Rachel started this because she does accounting and she deals with assets and liabilities all day. So it was the perfect pairing. But the main idea behind it is that you're showing up for the people in your life, right? Whether that's your spouse or your kids or your coworkers or your community. But you're showing up and taking personal responsibility and being someone that people can depend on and putting in the hard work instead of being someone that takes away from all of those situations and creates a liability. So that's what I understand it to be, is someone who shows up in their life in every facet that they can and contributes in a positive way.
I would say that's the description I would give as an asset. Because I would never want to be somebody's liability.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. And we've been telling the kids, like, we've been asking them, like, what does it mean to be an asset? Do you know what that word even means? Most don't. It's a big word. I get it. But they understand the concept. They're like, so be nice to my friends. You know, listen to my mom when she tells me to do stuff. Don't hit my brother. Go play with the lonely kid at recess. Whatever it is. Like, those are answers. Like, I had a kid in here who, he came up and he's like, Coach Amanda, like, I listened to what you said. You said do something nice for my mom this weekend. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to ask her about that. And she was like, yeah, for like 3 days straight, he set the table without being prompted at all. Like, he was just like, he just went home, noticed his mom was like busy, needed help, and just did stuff. And he's 6. Like, just took it upon himself to like contribute in his way that he could in his own environment. And his mom noticed, and he came and he goes, I did something good, Amanda. I listened. I did something nice for my mom. And I'm
That
like,
is cool.
what? I didn't know you listened to me. Like, this is amazing. Crap, I better watch what I say. No. But they understand. Like, I think even if it's a hard concept to grasp, like, even the youngest kids in here understand what it means to be someone who shows up in their life.
I just love how you guys are with the little kid class. It just kills me. Oh,
I don't even know if they know any of the real jiu-jitsu terms because we just make it random wild crap that they remember. Like breaking someone's guard, I'm like, you gotta be a chicken and a turtle. Chicken turtle. Like we just do all these weird, and they don't even know it's just like a basic hip pin guard. Like they don't know any of that crap. So I'm like, maybe I need to fix that. They're gonna go train somewhere else and be like, I never learned that. Oh, that's the chicken turtle.
The what?
We were called to be primary teachers, and we got like 4 and 5-year-olds, and we had like a 10-minute, like for every 60-minute class we had 10 minutes of teaching and 50 minutes of just like random side quests.
That's how it should be. They just
Yeah.
want to be seen and heard.
And like we'd get interrupted all the time, like to be told the most irrelevant stuff, and I was almost all there for it. I was like, dude, this is awesome.
You got some of the funniest questions. It was like, what was it? One. Why is your hair so weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does your hair go
weird
straight?
hair.
And it was when I had like a beard
You have
that went
weird
down
hair.
to. They're like, why is your hair so weird? You look like my weird cousin. Like they tell me.
You look like my cousin who I don't like.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, thanks, okay. And then we're like, okay, so let's talk about the temple, guys. And then it was.
Yeah, we were talking about. It was there was one class that we were teaching. We were teaching about temples, and we had this one girl. I thought she was gonna like fall out of her chair. She's like, I've got it. Like,
I gotta say something.
You're like, she knows something about the
I'm like, go ahead. And she's like, my mom, she has this friend, and he comes over sometimes. And I was like, okay. That's all she said. Like,
Yeah.
like,
The randomest
She's been
thing.
waiting all week just to tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh no. They do tell you things that sometimes I'm
There
like,
was-
your parents don't want you telling people that.
like,
yeah,
don't say
there was another one where it was like a sad thing that had happened in the ward, and this kid was like, yeah, last week this guy got ran over by a lawnmower and died, or something like stupid like that, or a
Yeah,
tractor
and then-
got ran over by a
You
tractor
know, he's
and
just
died. And
processing
we're like,
and trying to say it out loud to see your reaction,
yeah, we're like,
right?
oh yeah, like we had heard about it. We're like, yeah, we know, it's a sad thing. But they were like the way they said it, you can't blame them, of course. We're like,
Yeah, but of course
Okay.
the other kids have to chime in. They're like, because they'd heard about it too, and they're like, oh yeah, I think that's so and so.
yeah, that was my uncle. And we're like, okay,
That is literally teaching every kid's class in here. It is
Yeah.
story time.
yeah, story time, 100%.
But they like
We thought
live
it was
for
so
that.
fun.
A real velociraptor in real life. Like, you
But
have.
it made it less stressful on us. We felt less stressed to teach a full, like, comprehensive 60-minute lesson because we're like, we'll prepare 20 minutes, like 15 to 25 minutes, give or take.
Maybe.
And then sometimes we'd get 10, sometimes we'd teach 30 minutes, but, like, most of the time it was like,
We were bad teachers.
Whatever.
We
Do you know what they
loved
took away from that? These adults
Love to
Know
listen
how to have
me.
fun.
listen to me.
Yeah.
They think what I have to say is
Yeah.
important.
right.
That's the best lesson you could have taught.
100%. Give them a space to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, like when we went into that ward, we were stuck right into primary. And so we did not get to know any of the adults.
That is
And
hard.
so when the kids would go out and like greet their parents, I'd be like, "Hi, how's so and so?" Because
Yeah, we're like, hey,
not
we-
even thinking. I was just trying to be
We
nice.
feel
and
like we know the
they would
parents.
just like look at me like, "How the hell do you know that?" Like,
Yeah.
like, oh.
How do you know that about my child? Yeah.
That happened to me. I got put in Young Women's and I was in there for 4.5 years. So I knew all the youth. I didn't know the parents.
And you
Same
feel
thing.
like you know the parents because they
You
tell
do,
you all
yeah.
these things. Then you like walk up to them and you've seen them in church and they're in sacrament meeting or whatever. You're like, oh hey, so and so, how's that going? And they're like, what? Who are you?
How'd you
Yeah.
know that I cut my toenail off weird? Or oh, your child told me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Did you know my other child had broke his arm?
Yeah. There is one kid in the class. They were all circled up and I was demonstrating with Mike. Like, I think I was in his guard doing something and we just moved apart and he comes up and Amanda, Coach Amanda. And then he just leans in and kisses me on the cheek. And I was like, oh, thanks, bud. Okay, let's
Let's get back
out
to
of like
the
in front of
rolling.
everybody.
Yeah.
And he was just had to run up just to do that. And I was like, oh boy,
His
I think you're
intrusive
my
thoughts
favorite.
won,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, I think I'm in love with you. You're the cutest little
is
kid
funny.
ever.
That's
So
awesome.
cute.
Oh my word.
If somebody's going through like some mental thing, anxiety or whatever, and just like unsure, I don't know, low self-esteem, unsure of like whether they should come, but like they know it's there, what would you say to that person to like get them there?
I saw a reel the other day that was kind of making fun of this idea where, in between roles, someone's like, "Oh, hey, did I tell you my wife left me? No, man, I didn't. So do you want to start on top or bottom?" Like, and they just completely breeze past it. But it is like such a vulnerable sport where you're putting yourself in uncomfortable positions where, injury can happen if you're not careful and stuff like that. So I think being in a physically vulnerable place kind of segues into being able to be a little bit more open verbally or emotionally. And I've had conversations with people in the gym that I probably wouldn't have with other coworkers or other people, just because you do feel safe. Like, you do feel like you're able to talk about the anxieties because, like you said, everybody does have them. Jiu-jitsu is, like I said, 90% mental for me. Like, I struggle with a ton of mental stuff, and it is the first place that I have felt calm mentally. And I am sure people find other outlets for that. Maybe some of them not so healthy. Alcohol is a lot more damaging than jujitsu, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think just telling them maybe, yeah, I totally understand that, empathizing that everybody probably has something, but maybe we don't all talk about it. But that it's a safe space that if you want to talk about it, you can. If not, you don't have to. I've had kids have full-on panic attacks during class, and I was able to talk to them about it afterwards. I've got another friend in here who went through tons of anxiety and went through a lot of stuff, and she comes in here for a physical release to do something really hard because she has a lot of anger. So I think people have different whys, but everybody has something, and doing something vulnerable physical directly connects to unlocking some of those mental things.
I couldn't agree more.
Because you're doing stuff that makes you feel silly. So then you're like, well, if you can see me doing that, then you probably can be trusted with this thing I've been dealing with.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say also about anxiety, like, it's okay to set the boundary of like, I'm not ready for this, or I'm not ready to roll or to do more than whatever I just did. Like, yes, I think pushing yourself to a place where you're a little bit uncomfortable is good for growth, but in increments or whatever you're ready for, right? Like, if you are experiencing like so much anxiety about rolling with a guy or doing something really physical that's hard and you feel unprepared in whatever way it is, like, take it at your own pace, but just keep trying it, I would say, at your own pace. You don't have to jump in
to
all the
know
way
that, like,
at the deep end.
all of our guys here at Asset are not going to be offended that you do not want to roll with them. Like, they're not going to be offended.
Yeah. And there's lots of options. Like, you could say, I don't feel comfortable coming to class yet. I want to do a private lesson.
Exactly.
There's private lessons. Tons of people do those. Or you could be like, hey, this round, I'm only comfortable working from this position right now. I feel overwhelmed by everything else. Can we please just do that? Like, I feel like just being really upfront with where you're at every time. Like, there's several classes where I'm like, I feel like I might pass out. Like, I did not eat enough food today. I might start crying if somebody bumps me the wrong way. So I'm not rolling today. And they just like, okay,
Felt those,
sounds
man.
good. Sounds good. Whatever. Or I'm seriously PMSing. I am not rolling today. Like, whatever it is, right? Like, I think just being super upfront. Most people here will just respect that.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think we're good. Thank you for coming on, Amanda. Thanks,
Yeah.
Kori, for doing this.
Thanks for having me.